Anyway, let's start with Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
You wanna tell me about your bad dreams?
It's always the same.
Your dad. We're never gonna be able to move forward until you deal with some of the mess you left in your head.
My father was a monster. You know that.
Now, Jordan, before you do all the explaining why this movie is the way it is,
I mean,
you have to allow me to have a 2 to 3 minute uninterrupted rant.
all right, starting now.
Well, perhaps 4 minute rant. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. Okay.
Starting now.
Because, Jordan, this needs to be a TikTok. This needs to be said. And that is, this is one of the most fascinatingly terrible movies I have ever seen. It is quite literally maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in a way that is utterly fascinating. It is so badly and incoherently written, not even just like from the perspective of this is Five Nights at Freddy's and it inherently doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's just a poorly constructed and badly written screenplay. It's the kind of badly written screenplay that you would show in a writing class to show you how not to write a screenplay. It is horrendous. Like, everyone's like, the acting, but the writing is so unbelievably bad. We're gonna peel back the layers of what makes the writing bad in a second here, but it is transfixingly bad. Like, I looked at Jordan several times and went, what is fucking happening in this movie? It is bizarre how badly written it is. Like, I saw somebody say that it was better than the first one, and it instantly made me lose respect for them. I was like, wow, I used to respect you as a critic. Wow, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. It's bad. It's bad. Okay. Start off with Jordan. Why is it bad?
I mean, it's bad because Scott Cawthon is a bad writer.
Scott Cawthon is a horrendous writer.
It all comes down to that. And even when you look at the games, I mean, I don't care how dedicated of a fan you are. Most fans that I know of can look at Five Nights at Freddy's and be like,
No.
I love Five Nights at Freddy's. But it's a badly. I mean the one that
a lot of shit for saying it was bad in several videos,
well,
several comments.
It is. So. The thing is
it's horrendously written.
The thing is that Scott Cawthon has great ideas, and what makes the let me finish.
As well, but
let me finish. What makes the Five Nights at Freddy fan base dedicated is, and what makes them the way they are is. They see the story, they fill in the blanks of the story, and that's what makes people like it. So like let me finish. So like a lot of the things that people really like for example, the people that are all fans of game theory like me, a lot of what made the things better, like the games better and elevated it, was the attention it got from people that weren't Scott Cawthon. If you didn't have people like Game Theory and Markiplier and all the other ones who gave it the attention and made the theories about it and said, I think this is what happened, which then Scott Cawthon saw and took those ideas and put them into his games. That's the thing, is that Scott Cawthon's writing is not strong enough that he would have been successful in any regards if it wasn't for all of the other much smarter people around him, which elevated the product.
But the thing we said, we talked about this yesterday, and the things that make this a bad movie have nothing to do with it. It's just a badly written movie. Like all that. Like okay. A major component of this movie is hold on, is a science fair.
We didn't agree on this. We didn't agree on all the things that make it bad are exclusively things that that are movie writing things. No, there are things in there that make it bad that are just because it comes from Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the large portion
I disagree
of it
with that.
Is just bad because it's a badly like again a major portion of this movie.
No, I
hold
disagree
on, let me
with
finish.
that. I think
a major
it's
portion of this movie.
I think it's a badly written.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish.
I think it's a badly written movie because of the stuff that comes from
Let
FNAF.
me
There's no
finish.
way you can work
Let
it
me
into a thing that
finish.
makes sense.
Let me finish. What I'm saying though is it's also just a badly written screenplay. Let me finish. A huge portion of this movie is constructed around a teacher who just hates her for no reason, who hates Abby, Josh Hutchinson's sister, for literally no reason. There's never a reason that's identified. There's never a reason that's explained. It's also a huge portion of the plot involves her winning a science fair, which is just not how science fairs work. There's a scene where she stands on stage with a comedically huge trophy, which is just not how science fairs work. That has nothing to do. That would be bad in any movie. That's what I'm saying. That's just bad writing. Like that has.
I will say,
That has
I don't know.
nothing to do with Five Nights at Freddy's.
I will say, as an aside, I don't know how science fairs works. I've never had one. I never did
I
one.
have,
We
and that's
never.
not how they work. You
Well,
certainly
that's not how yours
they're
work.
certainly not talked about in
I don't
dialogue
know.
as if they're like the big game. Oh, we have to
I don't
win the
know
big
in
science fair. No, that's not how
I don't
science
know in
fairs
America what they're like. To be
work. They're
fair,
not
in
handing
America,
out.
in America, maybe they are.
They're not
Like there's a
handing
lot
out.
of there's a lot of TV shows where the science fair is a
They're
big
not.
deal.
They're not handing out comedically gigantic trophies
No,
at a science fair.
obviously not. They're not putting out ones that big.
Stupid.
But you'd get a ribbon.
Like,
You'd
but
get
like,
something. You'd
there's
win the science
there's
fair.
also there's also things that
There's always the thing in television shows where yeah they win the science fair.
not
That's not
not to the degree that this teacher is like,
yeah
I'm going to
again
intentionally smash her thing
again
for
yes we're not
literally no
disagreeing on
reason.
that.
But
We're
that's what.
not
Hold on,
disagreeing.
let me
We're
finish.
not no let me finish. We're not disagreeing on that, but what I'm saying is that you're harping on it like it's some weird thing that nothing has ever done before, and it is very much a trope in movies where the
But
science the I have to go win the big science
yeah,
fair.
but
Yes, it is a
it's
thing.
weird in this movie is what again it's his hatred
But
for her
yes,
is
but what
never
I'm saying is
explained,
that that's
never
not
addressed.
exclusively what makes it a bad
No,
movie.
no, no. Yeah, okay, let me finish. That's what I'm saying is that's what makes it a bad movie independently of
I
that's just
disagree.
let me finish. That's what makes it a bad movie independently in terms of screenwriting and a screenplay. That's what makes it a bad screenplay. Now what makes now the bad stuff that is bad as per the way it's related to Five Nights at Freddy's is shit like you said that the fucking marionette doesn't work that way. That's bad shit. He doesn't even remember his own continuity. Like that.
He's changed his
Yeah,
continuity.
but that's dumb. Like that is dumb because it's Five Nights at Freddy's. And there's a lot of shit in the first one that's dumb because it's Five Nights at Freddy's. The stuff that's dumb that because it's Five Nights
Dumb
at
is a
Freddy's.
strong word. Silly, goofy. It makes
Dumb,
no
silly,
sense.
whatever. It's synonyms.
Nonsensical.
Synonyms.
Just because I know that people are gonna get upset with that use of word.
It's
Well, like dumb is relative.
it's whatever. But the
Silly,
stuff that's
goofy.
dumb because that's Five Nights at Freddy's. That's not a problem because it's Five Nights at Freddy's. You can be like, oh, it's Five Nights. What I'm saying is it being silly is not a problem because the franchise is inherently silly. So that stuff in the first one didn't detract from the movie working because it was a symptom of the franchise itself. This what I'm saying is what makes this a substantially and perplexingly terrible movie is all of the things in the screenplay that are just a result of him being a bad writer. But it's astonishingly bad. It's how do you have a career bad? It's like student level writing. Like it's truly astonishingly terrible.
For me, the thing the thing that makes the science fair thing not work for me, or the teacher thing specifically, because I don't have an issue with the science fair thing. I don't know why
It's
you
the
harp
way
on
it's
that so much.
presented. It's not
I
the
don't.
fact that hold
It's
on.
not the fact that
Let me answer you.
it's not the fact that hold on. It's not the fact that there's a science fair that you have the problem with. It's the dick teacher that you
It's
have
the
the problem
teacher
with.
and the way he's acting about the science fair.
Yeah,
It's
the
like the
dick
whole
teacher.
But it's not even just that he's a dick teacher. He's like the whole school is relying on us winning the big science fair. Like he's talking about the big science fair as though he's a coach in a sports movie. Like it's the way, and it's very clear that Scott Cawthon has never participated in. It's the kind of writing that he's writing it based on what he's seen in movies and television, not based on actual lived experience.
What makes it frustrating for me is it it's easily fixable problems. And I think that's where the frustration for me comes from, is because like the teacher not liking Abby, you could have like a scene or a
Yeah,
line
pretty
where
much
like
because she's
where
weird.
she's in, well, no, where she's in class, and because there's a throw off line that he has about how he doesn't respect the robotics when it comes to the animatronics and stuff like that. Like he thinks it's a waste of time or a waste
Did
of
he say that?
technology. Yes, there's a one-off line that he says like near the beginning when he's looking at her project or something. That's why he doesn't like her. Is because he doesn't. That's what they.
But
That's
never
what
really
he's trying
said
to get
in the,
across. But they don't do enough to really explain it. But
that.
there's the one-off line,
But
and so
that's
like what would fix it is if like because she's obsessed with the animatronics and she keeps telling everybody about the animatronics and all this and that. What would fix the problem for me is if there was an even extension of the classroom scene where like he's trying to teach them about something different, like maybe something like to help the environment, wind turbines. I don't know.
but she's in a
Some
robotics
other
class,
I know. But
which
I'm
is
saying
also
if he
stupid.
had some other interpretation of what it should be used for that he's trying to teach, and she continues in class to distract from the rest of the class and talk about the Five Nights at Freddy's things, then I could see him having some sort of irritation towards her, right? That would then be at least a little
Just
justified to me. But what exists in the movie is not enough. And so then that snowballs into this science fair thing where again if they had a one-off line where they're like it's a private school or it's like it's a some sort of school where the funding comes from an outside source and that source is like a science heavy place which takes a big deal out of the science fair and you have to really amp up what makes that science fair important because otherwise what we have in the movie is as far as I can tell just a normal science fair which has little to no stakes as to why a teacher would care about any of it.
yeah, the only stakes that exist is the trophy that's as tall as Chica, which is like what school? Okay, no
So
science
like if you had
program.
a
No,
if you had a
hold on.
line,
Let me like. Oh, no science program in existence would. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief and be like okay, maybe the theater program, but like this no science program has the budget and no school is the sports. Yes, sports absolutely. That's why movie, especially in America. But there's no publicly funded school which would have a science fair. It's not the existence of the. It's the fact that it's a Five Nights at Freddy's movie and a big part of the plot hinges on them on her winning a science
yeah. Well,
fair.
that's
Dumb.
the way that you could easily do it if they had okay if Scott was a better writer I'm gonna fix his issue here
Fix this
for him.
bad movie.
Yeah, if Scott Cawthon was a stronger writer, what he would have done is he would have set up that Freddy Fazbear still exists in this world, even though Afton dies, right? Like they would have it where the corporation continues to move on, and it would be implied that his son runs it,
Yeah,
right?
well, yeah,
So
no,
then,
yeah,
so
that's
then,
another twist that
so
comes out
then,
of
so
fucking
then,
nowhere.
so then what you would do is you would have it be where Freddy Fazbear's corporation, they help fund the school. Like that's their corporate donations or whatever. They help fund the school, and that's where the robotics class comes from. That's where the money for the robotics class comes from, and that's why the teacher resents it.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's
yeah.
why the teacher resents her is because she is so fascinated with Freddy Fazbear.
Um,
That's how you fix all of those
but yeah,
issues.
no, she has
And then
she
that's why there's a big deal about who wins this thing is because if whoever wins it like
she just kind of
decides what the funding goes
she
toward or
just kind of
something like that.
she just kind of wins it so that the robot Chica can kill. Yeah, it's one of those movies where you're like, there's no way when Wayne Knight read this script. Yeah, it feels like he did. You said he feels like he did it as a favor to Matthew Lillard. Because, like, there's no way he read this. Because Matthew Lillard gets good shit in this movie. Like, he clearly had right to first refusal on writing or something. Because none of his lines are the worst ones. But Wayne Knight, there's no way he read that script and went, I've made a good choice. There's no way. He's the worst character in the movie. Not just because he's badly acted, which it kind of is. It's just when he smashes the fucking. We're gonna jump all over the place. I'm sorry, but when he smashes the fucking thing, we looked at each other and we went, "What is
What a
this?"
dick. No, not even just us. Not even just us. There was some kid in the in the audience who at that point was like or said something like what a dick.
I know,
Um
but it's
and
just
and
he's
and
not even. He's
to
a
the point
cartoonish dick.
to the point where like even in the movie there's a kid who is like wow,
I know
you're such a
that's
dick,
clearly
mister.
Scott's attempt to lampshade it. But again, there's no explanation given to why he hates her to such a degree. And like,
Not a justifiable one
no,
anyway.
and yeah, the easiest way, I know your way works too, but the easiest way, but it's also the movie the movie wants you to think she's weird, but she makes friends so easily. Like there's a scene where everyone wants to be her friend, so it's just cut that and make it so she's socially ostracized and everyone thinks she's weird. So then the teacher has a reason to treat her as a weirdo freak. Like she's acting like like she says a lot of concerning shit in this movie. Oh yeah, that's not even mentioning the fact that every single conversation between Vanessa and Mike, hey, I remember the characters' names, is agonizing, and it just serves to make them be antagonistic towards each other and be split up. My personal favorite moment is when a character from earlier in the movie shows up to just drive her to the climax. Like
Yeah,
it's
the painter dude or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
he's like it's one of those scripts where you can see him at a desk writing it, being like, "Shit, how do I get her back to the
Her
house?"
her car is broken down. How do I get her there?
And then X named character shows up and okay, that's enough of the. There's so much more bad shit. Let's compliment sandwiches and talk about the shit that's actually good, because like it's not all bad. When I say it's a badly written script and it's a bad movie in like a get friends together and get wasted and watch it kind of way. Like it's like it's the same as the first one in that regard, where
I
the
mean,
most fun this movie is when the teenagers in the audience are having a fucking ball.
so
Like, or the
so
preteens in
okay.
the audience are having a great time and they're laughing. Like, those are the best moments for
So
me.
so I've harped on Scott Cawthon's writing because I've watched enough things and I've read enough things that I can recognize bad writing. But what I will say is if you like Five Nights at
Yeah, it's
Freddy's,
way more
this
like
is
the
gonna
games
this
than
is
the.
gonna feel like Five Nights at Freddy's
But in
because
a
the
way that's
guy who
so.
because the guy who wrote Five Nights at Freddy's wrote this.
Yeah,
So
but
it's gonna feel like it.
that comes with an
And so
asterisk, though.
no, it doesn't.
No, in the
It's
sense
gonna
that,
if
like,
you are
in the
if
sense.
you're a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, all the things we've care like that you and I have talked about, they don't care about
No,
that.
no, no.
That
But
doesn't bother
what
them.
I'm saying is it looks like the game, but like in terms of it's so like the funniest scene because it's so clumsily written is where he sits at the desk and just does Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Like that
Oh
scene
yeah,
is
I mean,
objectively funny because it's
when he
so
sits down there and he
contrived.
sees the mask and he's
That
like,
just
"There's no way
happens
this
to
will
be
work."
sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
And he picks it up and he does it. And he's like, "Oh my god, he's doing a gameplay mechanic." And it's like, oh yeah, there's a reason why when movies try to write in the gameplay mechanics into the movie, it feels forced. It
Or
does.
like
It
when it
feels unbelievably forced.
or like when Vanessa is leaving and he's like how do I close the door? And she's like, there is no door here. And it's like, it's because in the second
Because
game there was no
there's no
door
door.
there.
Or my
Or
favorite moment is
Foxy sees him and he's like, it's not working. And that's because in the original game, the mask doesn't work on Foxy. You have to flash the flashlight at him to confuse his sensors.
I
Or
love moments when you're like, I've been doing this show enough to know a thing. And my favorite bit is when you called the dream sequence the contractually obligated dream sequence because
oh yeah,
clearly
Matthew Lillard
Matthew
is
Lillard has
contracted
to
to
be
do
in
three
this movie in
movies.
particular about because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
so right. That's what that scene. It is otherwise a absurdly stupid scene that goes
It's
on
otherwise a
forever
scene.
and adds nothing.
It's otherwise a big lipped alligator moment, which
Pretty
you could cut
much.
that you could cut that out and it doesn't really add
This
anything.
and this is a consequence of it being is it treats this and yeah, you're right, to people who know this franchise they're gonna, but it treats this franchise as if it has more cultural significance than it does, where
I
it
mean,
has,
it does. It
but
has a
not to
it has no. Let me say that with an asterisk. It does, but not to mainstream.
not to normal
That's where
people.
that's where I say the first movie really tried, and I think this had everything to do with the fact that Scott Cawthon didn't have sole writing
Yeah,
credit on
he
that
only
one.
has a third of the writing credit and it shows.
But the the first one definitely felt like the studio like they had to convince the studio to make it, and the way that they convinced the studio to make it was being was by being like, oh, we're gonna make it so mainstream audiences can go and watch this.
Yeah.
The second one, Scott Cawthon came along and was like, well, we don't have to do that anymore. We've proved that people are gonna go and watch this no matter what. There's an audience for it and it's gonna make money. Let's just make it like the game.
Cause like There's so many moments in this
Also,
movie.
hello, word 7893.
Hello. There's so many moments in this movie where it that story we talked about where Matthew Lillard said it was Darth Vader. It thinks he's Darth Vader, like in a cultural sense. Like if I walked up to a normal person and I said Star Wars, they'd say Darth Vader. They'd say
Yeah.
Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker. If I went up to a person and said Five Nights at Freddy's, they'd go the Bear. Right? They're not gonna be like Matthew Lillard. But this, okay, not this. Okay, big spoilers.
I
We've
mean,
done a
not
pretty
even, not
decent
even,
job of not spoiling anything too major.
not even just that they would say the bear. You would walk up to some like a regular person who maybe has heard about Five Nights at Freddy's, 50-50 chance. They'd be like, "That's the one with the creepy animatronics, right?"
Sure,
They wouldn't even know that it
but I
was a
mean, like, if I were
bear.
to ask you to name a character, they'd say the bear. That'd be the first character most people would
If they
say.
if they even could.
Even if they even, yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah, that's fair. But this movie wants you to think that he's Darth Vader, like as because number one thing, most important thing is like I'm coming at this as just the movie guy, right? And as a movie guy, this movie has the attitude, has the arrogant attitude. So they keep saying shit like you're part of my grand master plan, or we have to do the work, as if he's Jigsaw and I know what the work is. I don't know what the work is, Scott. This is the second movie. I don't. You haven't explained what he because these movies imply that there's more to him than he's just like. They imply he's Freddy Krueger and he's got some sort of magic powers. Like they like
Yeah, it's
the
because
concept.
they again they expect you to think, they expect you to know what the games are, and in the games
The
there
concept of
kind
him
of
being
is.
him being a guy who kills kids and them being magic ghost children is the same thing as the first one. They conflict with each other. They don't work together. They don't make any sense, and they don't explain how they're connected. And they keep hinting that there's a larger. I'm aware of what I'm about to say. They keep hinting there's a larger mystery without actually revealing any of the. Like, Jordan, name one substantive way that this movie has moved the story forward of this universe in any way, apart from the fact that I guess Matthew Lillard's going to come back as a ghost version of himself now.
Sorry to answer your question, word 7893. I have played the FNAF 1 game back in the day. I didn't beat it. It was hard.
I played it for like
I
five
think
minutes and
I
I hated
also
it.
I played a little bit of like all of the over like five, 1, 2, 3, 4, sister location. I think I did 5 and Ultimate Custom Night. So I've played a little bit of all of them,
I've only ever played the first one.
but I'm not very good at it. So I usually just watch other people play it, like back in the day when there was game theory, MatPat. Anyways, sorry, what was your question, Justin? Substantive way of which killing kids
No,
and all
of
that?
moving the story of the universe forward.
I mean, it really depends. Okay, there's two answers to this. In terms of a normal movie-going audience who knows nothing about the games, there's not.
That's what I'm
Um,
saying.
in terms of people who know things, they're very definitely doing. I think it's the third one, where the third game is basically they do a time jump, and this would obviously play out different on screen, but they do a time jump where it's supposed to be like 20 or 30 years later or something like that, and all of it is kind of it's because it's a tourist trap at that point where it's a horror house.
Gotcha.
Which is what they're setting up at the end of the thing, where they go and they find because like they basically they set up a horror house, and the only actual animatronic that they have is Springtrap.
Gotcha.
And so then you're the nighttime security guard in that game, looking after this. It's called Fazbear Frights, where they've rebranded it as like a horror thing. And Springtrap will come to life at night and try to come into the office and kill you. And
Gotcha.
in the game, you see a bunch of like you see all the other different versions of the animatronic, but like they're dirty, disgusting versions. But those are all hallucinogens.
Gotcha.
Hallucinogens?
Hallucinations?
Hallucinations, that's the word.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Whereas Springtrap is the only one that's alive. And then at the end of that game, you get a cutscene where it's Springtrap underneath, like, or in the burned down building or whatever, because at the end of it, the place gets burned down. And that's where you get a cutscene with Michael Afton, um, where he's like, I've gone back to the other places or something like that. And I've been looking for you, and he's been hunting for William Afton, and it's that's where I say his stories are never like laid out clearly. So the audience has to do a lot of the work where they fill in a lot of the details, or there's hidden things where it's like hidden
No, it's
information. So
bad
like
storytelling. Is what you're telling me.
it
But
is, it's absolutely bad
Scott,
storytelling.
bring back the co-writers in the next one. Don't write it by yourself. Let
Uh,
other people help you
words
write it.
Word 7893 has they've only played the first FNAF, haven't finished it. But said y'all been to a Chuck E. Cheese lately? I wonder how FNAF boosts their profits in any way. From what I know, it did
It did, but temporarily.
temporarily.
But they
I
also
what
Chuck E.
they
Cheese is so different now that
what they needed to do if they really want what Chuck E. Cheese's needed to do if they really wanted to profit off the Five Nights at Freddy's thing, which they didn't. They very much tried to distance themselves from it.
yeah.
But if they had wanted to, what they should have done is they should have had it be where at the during the daytime like it's Chuck E. Cheese, and then at nighttime like you have like at a certain time they go and they slide in the Freddy Fazbear thing or something, and you have it at nighttime. It's basically like a pop-up adult place
Rapid
where
Fire Fire.
adults can go to it, and it would be an adult
Um,
themed thing.
this movie also suffers from the fact that it's PG-13. It once again, and I understand why it's not. I totally get it. I totally get it.
It's still pretty violent though.
Yeah, it would be a much better movie. You would excuse 2/3 of the bad writing if it were gory. You just would. It's that kind of movie. You'd be like, you wouldn't remember half of the bad writing because we're like, oh my god, when he tears his head off, that was sick. But
Yeah, and I want to be
will say
fair to
the deaths are as brutal as they can be within the constraints of a PG-13 rating, which is,
I
which
want
is
to be
reasonably impressive.
I want to take a second though and be fair to the actors because
Oh,
the actors I think are doing a very good job with the
with
writing that
what
they have
they've
been
been
written.
given. No, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with any of the but like
There are some
I
choices
don't
that
want
I
to
would.
shit on a child actor. The only bad actor in this is Abby. She's horrid. Every one of her line deliveries is flat. There's no emotion in anything she's saying. None of the jokes she does lands. It's all bad. And all of Josh Hutchinson's worst lines are off of her lines. Like she's
Yeah,
but
she's
like
a child
she's
actor
a
though.
child actor. So like, I'm sure she'll improve as she gets older. But she was the worst actor
That's
in the first
again,
one, and she's the worst
again
actor in this
though.
one.
In her defense, it takes a really talented actor to take bad writing and make it good.
But like
So
also
when you're a fledgling actor and you're being given bad writing, can you really blame her?
like Skeet Ulrich shows up in this, and he decides halfway through the one scene he's in, that he has an accent. Like he starts
Who's
off,
he?
he was the business partner.
Oh, Henry.
Like halfway through the scene, he decides
I don't
that
think they I don't think they ever actually name his character in this
yeah, they
movie.
say it in the spoiler alert. Technically post credits, I guess. In that little message, they say
Oh, do
yeah,
they? Okay,
he
yeah,
gives
yeah,
he
yeah.
gives away his entire backstory. Where it's like, I'm actually William Afton's business partner or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But he just
Which
decides.
if you know anything about FNAF, you knew that as soon as you
Um,
saw him.
but when he halfway through the scene, he just all of a sudden has a thick southern accent for some reason. He didn't have it at the beginning of the scene, and then halfway through, he just decided he had one. I don't know if it's because they did multiple takes, or it's random and really noticeable. The best
I
scene in
didn't
the movie.
I don't think it is because I didn't notice
Oh,
it,
it's
but
really noticeable.
no, but you have
Um,
an ear for that sort of thing.
um, what else? Oh yeah, everyone is talking about this, but we might as well mention it. The day is saved by the power of friendship. That's pretty funny.
Yes, it is.
It's so funny. I will say the scene.
Because what else
Spoiler
were they
alert
gonna
again, big
do?
spoiler alert. But yeah, the original Five Nights at Freddy's, they all return to save the day, and they destroy all of the new ones, and it's really quite satisfying. It's really
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
yeah, like I say, I'm bragging, but I'm also not the target demographic. The target demographic is the 12 and 11-year olds who are having a fucking blast. Like they cheered
Well,
for this like it was a
yeah.
Marvel movie.
The
And
the
they
12
gasped at all the spots you're supposed to gasp,
the 12 and 11-year-olds and the fans who have been fans of it since the beginning who are going
Oh.
to it because they know it's bad.
Not in our theater. In our theater, it was all 11 and 12 year
No, but
olds.
I'm saying those are the
Oh, that's
audiences
not true.
for it.
The one guy behind us who also seemed to be really. I felt bad. I was dying. I was dying. The writing was so bad, and I kept looking at Jordan, and be like, "This is horrid." And I was trying not to laugh, but I will admit, when the day was saved by the power of friendship, I laughed so hard.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between us.
So
It was
funny.
like it was bad, and there was definitely some points where I rolled my eyes, but my only real issue with it, I mean, again, it's bad, but in a fun way. But my
Oh yeah,
only
in a fun
real,
way, but it's
but my only real issue with it was the teacher, and that's just because it's just they could have written it in a way that made sense.
I mean, there's a lot of other like things happen because they have to happen. There's scenes that just go on for an absurd a long time.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
Characters
I
that
said,
don't end up meaning anything.
there's a lot of scenes in this movie which have to happen so they can have things that happened in the games.
Like
So that because Scott Cawthon appears to be trying to use these movies to explain things that people never understood in his
there's
games.
so many moments of
He's
characters
doing it
who,
poorly, but
and
that's what he's trying to do.
and to be fair, Marvel movies also do this, but like they have the benefit, and they've been doing it with newer characters, so it's also inexcusable there. But there's nothing worse than when characters step out and do a what I like to call a homecoming moment,
Yeah,
like
yeah, no, that's essentially what they did. Yeah, I
where
mean,
it's like,
in this
You're
instance,
supposed to know this character, and like, who the fuck is this creepy guy?
oh, I thought you meant when the power of friendship saved everyone.
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
the power of friendship saving moment more made me think of Avengers 1,
Yeah,
where like
this.
they're all back to back fighting against the army.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, but there's just multiple characters in this where like they look right into the camera and they're like, you know me. Like the worst
Yeah,
one
well,
is that
there's
Michael
name drops
Afton.
like Michael Afton. Yeah, no,
He
there's
shows up and then
that's
he goes like, I'm Michael Afton, as if you're supposed to know who that is.
which most of us in the audience did. That's when like all the kids and me were like, "Oh dang."
I know, but
Like
it's
cuz
just
we know who they are. And that's where I say it definitely to me it came across there's multiple points in this movie where it came across like Scott Cawthon came along for this one, had full creative control, and was like, "I'm gonna fix certain
that
things that we did in the first one."
that is very much like there's crossover of it. It's just a bad screenplay, and it's a bad five. It's bad. It's weird because it's Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's a crisscross of. But to be fair, Marvel movies also do the same thing. So I'm not gonna say that that's exclusive to this, where it's just. It's like it doesn't do any like he shows up in like I say an incredibly long scene where it hints that these characters are gonna mean something, and then they all get killed in unsatisfying ways.
You're
Like
talking
it's
about
the Ghost Facers.
yeah, the Ghost Facers. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Where you're
yeah.
like the movie hints that they're gonna be like the girl
Oh,
who
and
plays one is
also
McKenna Grace. She's quite famous, and then they end up
also
meaning nothing. Like not you never find out
also
if she survives or what happens to her
also
or like
oh no, all of
anything.
them you saw all of them die except for the girl. The girl and you know how you were like you had the complaint that um and I think the thing okay, the thing is I've kind of because I've experienced as much Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. I can kind of see how Scott Cawthon's brain works. So what I think I'm gonna give what I think his intention for that scene is. And we'll see, and you're gonna be like, okay, well, if that's the case, that's stupid and it needs to have been written better. And yes, that is the ultimate summation of this movie. But what I think the interpretation of that scene was Michael Afton is Vanessa's brother. Michael Afton knew that Charlie, Charlotte, the puppet, also spoiler alert, he knew that her and Vanessa were like best buddies because of the whole birthday party thing,
Yeah,
right? Because Vanessa was a blonde girl. So he finds this Ghost Facers crew, which has a blonde girl who looks like Vanessa. He tricks them into coming to the pizzeria so that
what?
the blonde girl can go downstairs and close the music box,
But
and
she's
then that'll wake up the puppet.
but she's
And then the
not.
puppet can can possess her because she looks like Vanessa, and they do have a strong bond, and that's in Scott
That's
Cawthon's mind a good enough reason for why that can happen and not break his own
it,
rules,
it,
even though it does break his own rules.
even in terms of like a slasher flick, it's a bad slasher flick scene. Like there's no establishment of these characters. The only establishment of these characters is in a scene on a television earlier in the movie. But the movie wants to pretend like they've been a thing. Yeah, it's bad. It's a badly written movie. It's like I say. It's an astonishing. I can't believe a studio approved it levels of terrible script. It is a bad script. Like it is shockingly bad. Like fascinatingly bad.
Now,
Like they should be
that being
studying this in
said,
screenwriting classes. Bad.
Now that being said, my like final thoughts of this movie experience, because I don't think we really have
Hey
much more
man,
to
speaking of movie
say.
theaters experience, two things. I love how at the beginning of the movie there's just straight up. I don't know if it was just for this movie or if it's a new thing because I didn't recognize it, but they just had a block of text that was like, "You get one chance. You get one chance, and if you say so much as a word, we will kick you out so fast your head will spin." But in like
Yeah.
funny legalese. Our theater was good. Like they were chill, they were cool, they had fun where it was appropriate to have fun. There was a little bit of cheat chat. And if you're about to say that you are absolutely going to go watch the third one, hell yeah, I am down. I will watch as many of these as they make.
I mean, yes, I am, but I kind of have to. But no, what I was gonna say, ultimate summation of this movie and
I
and
had a
my
great
thoughts
time.
towards it are, um, just because I say that Scott Cawthon is a bad writer, which he is objectively a bad writer. Um, that doesn't mean that the movie isn't enjoyable.
No,
If you are a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, this movie is absolutely for you because
you
it
can
it
you can enjoy
it
a thing and
encapsulates everything that everything that the game has. It is very much, it feels like Five Nights at
you're
Freddy's.
allowed to like a
So
bad
if you
movie.
enjoy it, you're gonna enjoy it, and you're probably gonna come at me and be like, "Oh, it doesn't have bad writing," because you are
You're wrong.
clearly a super fan who can't see Scott Cawthon's
You're
bad
you're,
writing.
you're objectively
But he
wrong.
is he is a bad writer. Just make
Um
no mistake about that.
you're wrong. But like this is also important. You're allowed to like bad movies. The internet and Gen Z and TikTok is so bad, has mind poisoned people into thinking that you can't enjoy a bad movie and admit it's bad. Like you can enjoy, like there's a reason why people love The Room, why people love Troll 2. Like this is on that level for me. Like it's that kind of bad where these movies, the first one included, are great hammered. Like just like you take
Or
a shot every
or
time something
otherwise.
dumb or stupid or like yeah, waste it. Just absolutely waste it on whatever
Yeah.
substance you enjoy doing. Like it's
Any
what
any legal substance you enjoy
in a
doing.
room with friends. Like that's the best way it is meant to be enjoyed. Like these are not good movies. But the second one for me, like I say, it
They're
reminded me
slop.
of there's a video I watched where the guy was like, it's just such an incomprehensibly bad movie that you're like, I don't understand how a person could have written this because it's just
Oh, I
that
mean,
truly terrible.
I mean, for me,
It's like
my
a
my
high
mine
schooler wrote it. Like that's
my
how
moment
bad it is.
my moment was, it was within like the first 10, like whatever, 20 minutes, when you see the puppet in live action, and I lean into you and I'm like, I don't know any world where a child, like, because these things are supposed to be for children.
Oh yeah,
I
where a
don't know
child would
any
find that
world where a
inviting.
child would see the puppet and not think it's
Oh, I mean,
upsetting
in
and
that
horrifying.
very scene, a child goes off with Springtrap, who looks terrifying. And like, to be fair, they do show a picture of him later in the movie where he doesn't look terrifying, and I was like, oh, okay, that I kind of see. But that version of it looked terrifying. Um,
Or like, I can understand how they would like all the normal animatronics, like that I kind of get,
to a
but the
degree, but they're
puppet,
also still
the
kind of
the
scary.
the puppet in particular though is kind of
kind
horrifying
of.
looking.
I mean, that scene when she runs out and she has been stabbed, but it's a PG-13 movie, so she has two lightly red hole. Yeah, it's
Three, she
silly.
had three,
It
two or
was
three
silly. It
stab
was
wounds.
very silly. Was there something else about that opening sequence that was? Oh yeah, just the opening credits being just an info dump of information because that's how he like that's Five Nights at Freddy's, and I get it, but that's bad movie. That's bad movie making. Like,
it's supposed to be like a fun
yeah,
the
you pick it
2D
apart, but
scenes.
there's so much information that's being conveyed that looks important and like important to the plot of the movie that I'm trying to read it and it's going by so fast. I'm like, this is awful.
Yeah, that's for the like the I mean he's retired now, but for the Matt Pats and the whoever still does it, the John FNAF, to be able to click through it scene by scene and
Yeah,
find all the
no.
things and dissect it for YouTube, and that's the Scott Cawthon writing method.
But yeah, don't you're never gonna convince me. The thing is that science teacher is gonna make me be like, for every video where I see someone be like it's a good movie, I'm gonna be like, but the science teacher, Wayne Knight is explain the science teacher to me. Explain it to
I
me.
mean,
Explain to me how
I
that's
mean,
good writing.
I mean, it's not. It's not good writing.
It's not good writing.
It's not good.
It's not
It's
better
not
than
good
the
writing.
first one. Seriously, I used to respect him. He was a critic I respected. It broke my heart. I was like, no, 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 it's not.
Was he invited to the premiere? Because anyone who's invited
Went to
to the premiere, I don't trust their
I
judgment.
don't know. Yeah, it's like whenever I see Matt Pat promoting this, I'm like, Matt Pat, you can't believe this is a good movie. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Sorry. We'll wrap up. I promise. The voices are
I've
weird,
never,
man.
I've never seen an interview of him saying that it was a good movie. Every interview I saw of him was just him being like, "Yeah, I just can't believe I'm here."
I mean, I also can't believe he's here, and you can hear him a little bit. The voice is
A little bit.
It's not him because clearly they knew that his voice would be. I like the other ones don't sound like they've been modulated like at all, except for him. But you could still tell it's him if you know.
If you know, you can tell.
Yeah, if
Just
you know,
the
you can tell.
affectations and stuff,
But
certain
answer
ways he
that,
says
oh man,
things.
I could go all day. So there's no rhyme or like all the animatronics go for these random parents for seemingly no reason.
Justin, we don't have time for this.
There's
It's
just
bad
so
writing.
much. Again, it's so much.
bad.
I could
It's
teach
bad writing.
you could teach a class about how bad the writing is in this movie. Like that's.
Yes,
fact,
it's Scott Cawthon's writing, Justin. That's what
probably what the YouTube video is going to be called. It's Five Nights at Freddy's 2. You could teach
a master class of bad writing.
A master class of bad writing. I like that. That's probably the title. A master, because it is. It truly is. You like again. They should teach this in screenwriting classes about how not to write a screenplay. Like it's the thing is like I'm not a writer, and even I can tell it's a bad screenplay. That's how you know it's a bad screenplay. Anyway, hey there everybody, it's Endcard Justin here. Let me know down in the comments, have you seen Five Nights at Freddy's 2? I'm sure at least one Five Nights at Freddy's fan is going to come into the comments and yell at me. And in the event that you do that, this is still one of the worst screenplays I've ever seen in my life. It's truly incomprehensibly terrible. It again, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. In the meantime, if you'd like to see the full podcast that this is from, our What a Twist episode, you click the box on the left. Or if you just want to see a random video that YouTube thinks you're going to enjoy, click the box on the right. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We put new videos out 7 days a week. Or you can just leave the video a like. That helps us out too. We will see you all in the next video.